Welcome. Welcome everyone to Mindfulness with Marcia this week. I've recognized that the past weeks I've shared many Mindfulness with Marcia around natures and being mindful with God's creation. As summer winds down and the busyness of autumn begins, and yes, the weather gets cooler, which for so many of you is not something you look forward to, although fall is my favorite season of the year. But it often can be more difficult to get in touch with the marvel of nature as it exists around us. It seems that we are more in tune to it during the summer weather, and then we sort of ignore it and go about our business and get through the winter. So finding innovative ways to really connect with nature, even in the winter months in North Dakota, well, it can bring us closer to the wonders that envelop our lives. One way to do this, pause with our feathered friends, the bird kingdom, or as I call them, my birdies. Just by taking a few moments each day to watch the bird activity that goes on in our yards, even if you're not outside and you're just looking through the window, well, it can bring a sense of calmness, a sense of well-being in our lives. Watching and being with the birds that we share our garden space with allows us to experience greater feelings of relaxation and gratitude, if nothing else for the diversity that is always present around us. Simply watching, again, with curiosity, like a child, without judgment, without expectation, well, that also heightens our awareness of the beauty of nature. Also, doing this with our family members, which often now people are finding more time to do things at home with family, that in turn can introduce a pause or mindful practice to your family members that can be shared and appreciated by all, as well as creating deeper bonds with each other as you go through that joy of experiencing the grateful power of nature. I personally have created a bird sanctuary area in my backyard by placing several feeders with specific seeds and a bird bath for both water and bathing opportunities in my garden to intentionally attract yellow and red-headed finches. You see, for a long time, I found myself in a negative place with birds. My bird brain was actually going in a negative nature, feeling a loss for my bird friends that I had left long ago. It's been like 20 years behind in Indiana, specifically the Cardinals and Baltimore Orioles, which I adored. But once I began my mindful journey, I began to also notice this negative brain bias for the birds that I no longer have. As I mentioned, I've been in North Dakota for a while. So I intentionally and mindfully moved to discovering, well, what birds are here in Minot that I wanted to invite into my yard. So now that I've set the table, so to speak, for my good birdie guests, I'm enjoying both yellow and red-headed finches like never before, plus the doves and the nuthatches and chickadees and so many more species. Yeah, every now and then I think about, oh, I'd love to see a cardinal fly in, but it's amazing how much joy and non-negative feelings now I get from just a different focus on what my bird friends are all about. It's amazing to me, and now I'm back into noticing things like their tiny little feathers, how when they're all lined up so perfectly together, they create such gorgeous, bright colors, especially on those finches. And the shades of a mourning dove, or the patterns, even on a simple red-winged blackbird, the patterns of the red and the yellow on their wings. And lately, in these North Dakota wings, how does this very lightweight creature with hollow bones fly directly into the wind? And yet I have trouble standing up when I go around the side of the house in a gust. The other day, watching a nuthatch. Nuthatches traverse up and down trees up and down the bark. Now, I kind of get that their feet could, grab onto the bark, but they actually traverse down on my steel shepherd hooks that support the feeders. And every time I see that, I have to laugh. But at the same time, I'm filled with awe. How do those little birdie feet hang on to a steel pole? I mean, it's just fascinating. These are just a few examples, and there's so many more I could call forth to bring beauty and gratitude in my life by just looking outside my window or being on the patio in the back watching my birdie friends come to enjoy. So this week, as you consciously pause to connect with your outer world and bring some mindfulness into your life, perhaps you too can watch the splendor of our feathered friends. And again, you could view it from your deck or patio, or stay inside and just peer out the windows. Pause as you watch and reflect with gratitude the beauty of nature found around you if you just take a mindful break to look and to see. Until next time, stay safe and be well.